Yes, it's Uncle Jegz. Last time we looked at the differences between communicable and non-communicable diseases. We also touched on how pathogens spread from person to person and the different types of correlations that you can get. Clickety-click on the card here to watch that last lesson. Our checklist for this lesson is here. As you can see, we'll be focusing on the pathology of bacteria and viruses today. So let's chop some science. Here are the retrieval questions for this lesson. Pause and I'll be back with the answers. Mark and correct the ting. As we saw from the last lesson, pathogens are microorganisms that cause diseases. The top diagram here shows how bacteria typically cause illnesses, and the bottom one shows how viruses typically cause illnesses. Here are some challenge questions for you to have a go at. Use the images and your knowledge of how cells work to figure this out. Pathogens can cause cell damage by producing toxins. This is usually how bacteria cause illnesses. They can also reproduce inside the cell, causing the whole cell to die. This is how viruses cause illnesses. Viruses attach to proteins located on the surface membrane, the cell membrane. Remember that this is the outer layer of animal cells. Even though the outer layer of plant cells is the cell wall, this isn't where the virus is attached to on plants. They're attached still to the cell membrane just beneath the cell wall. For the last question, we can see that viruses insert their genes inside the host cell's nucleus. Therefore, some of our junk DNA actually comes from viruses.
Say what?
No lie! Up to 8% of our DNA is viral DNA. When the virus injects itself, its genes can remain inside your nucleus. And if this happens inside a sperm or egg cell, the viral gene will find itself in all of the cells in your body, and then that can be passed from one generation to another. It's actually a weird relationship if you think about it. The virus tried to kill you, tried to cause harm, but then it ends up being part of your family.
Ah! You slapped me, you monkey!
Marry me.
So we have bits of viruses inside us, even before we're born.
Yep, viral DNA is actually one of the many evidences for evolution. We have plenty of viral genes in our genome. What we find is that the closer the species are related to each other, the more viral DNA that they have in common. In this example, the ancestor to all mammals had HERVL inserted into it, and so many, almost virtually all mammals have this viral gene inside the genome. But the newest type of HERVK inserted itself in our genome long after primates branched off from the modern humans. So only we have this new viral DNA. I'm not going to go into too much detail here because I'm planning to do a whole series on evolution, because due to misunderstanding and misinformation, bare people are clueless on what actually is going on here. Going back to bacteria, we naturally have gut bacteria that help our bodies absorb some nutrients. I've got these 3 images and I'll like you to attempt these challenge questions here, and then we'll go over the answers. The first question is pretty straightforward. Yakult is meant to provide good bacteria, healthy bacteria that improves our digestion. 0.3% is roughly 0.003 because we have to divide it by 100 to get it from a percentage value. This is roughly 0.21 kilograms from a 70 kilogram person. To put this into perspective, that is roughly the mass of a smartphone. So, pick up your phone and just feel just how much bacteria an adult is carrying around. That's the total mass of bacteria you're carrying for free. In the bottom picture, we can see a lawn of bacteria. They provide little to no room for pathogenic bacteria to attach to your body. Just like a packed train when we're not under quarantine. Not really. Let's look at a type of virus called a bacteriophage. These viruses attack, you probably guessed it, bacteria. The whole life cycle of a virus involves them hijacking the host cell, using up its resources. This ain't exactly helpful, and look what happens at the end. They bust out of the cell, breaking it, killing it. So
viruses are always bad.
It's best to say that viruses are always pathogenic.
But wait, if viruses infect you with their DNA, I swear then you can get superpowers or something.
Jaden, you've been watching way too much Nollywood films. Look at that, we're done with the top row. I've got another challenge activity for you to have a go here. This bar chart represents the top 10 global deaths in 2016, and we have a color key over here. This final picture shows some of the effects of a natural disaster. Now have a go at these challenge activities. Pathogenic diseases are caused by pathogens, so we're looking out for communicable diseases. That means that lower respiratory infections is our answer. More developed countries have better sanitation, so there are less chances for pathogenic bacteria, viruses, fungi, protists to be passed from one person to another. Also, more developed countries tend to have better access to healthcare and vaccines. Finally, natural disasters increase unsanitary conditions, which makes it more likely for pathogens to spread. Also, injuries like cuts and bruises make it easier for pathogens to infect you. We kinda already covered the method of spreading in the last video, so we'll just spend some time just matching the three methods to the different types of diseases and pathogens here.
How can we prevent this, brother?
Air droplets can be prevented using face masks, and I'm sure we're all familiar with that. Direct contact by barrier methods like gloves and condoms. Water and food can be properly filtered or cooked thoroughly. And would you look at that? We've finished the thing. Lesson done. I'll catch you guys in a bit.